All right, so now we'll look at creating a histogram using Python. So a survey was given to 230 subjects and the head and tail of the resulting data frame may be seen below. So here's a button I can click and it shows me the head, or the first 5 entries, first 5 observations, and the tail, or the last 5 observations from a data frame that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 variables: gender, height, weight, ages, marital status, race, and education. So that is my data frame, and there's a CSV file of the data frame I can download right here. So what they want me to do is use Python to create a histogram for the variable height in the data set and then paste the results below. So in order to do that, I'm going to download a CSV so I can load it into Python. So I'll click download CSV, and as you can see, raw data.csv has now been downloaded to my hard drive. And now I'm going to open up Google Colab so I can start with a Python cell here. So I'm going to start typing in Python code here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import the 2 libraries I'm going to need, which are pandas and, the download has just come in. So yes, I'm going to import the 2 libraries I need, which are pandas and Seaborn. So I'm going to give them aliases too. So I'm going to import pandas as PD. So I'm giving pandas the alias PD, and then I'm also going to import Seaborn as SNS. So I'm giving Seaborn the nickname SNS. All right, so I'm going to use pandas in order to create the data frame. The data frame, I'm going to give it the name DF. So my data frame's name is DF, and I'm going to use pandas to create it. So PD is what I call pandas as an alias. And the specific method I'm going to use from pandas is called read_CSV, which just reads CSV files. All you have to do is give it a file path in a quotation. So I'm going to open a parenthesis and make a quotation, and in that quotation I'm going to paste the file path. But first I have to get the file onto Google and copy the path. So to get the file onto my Google Drive, I'm going to come over here to the files icon. When I click it, it opens up this side pane, and one of the icons in this side pane is a piece of paper with an arrow pointing up. All right, and here it is right here. So this is the icon I need to upload something to the session storage. Once the session's runtime is over, whatever I upload to the session storage will be gone. So whatever I do, I need to do it while I'm in the session. So I click that button and it allows me to select the file from my hard drive. Raw data CSV is the file. It's an Excel comma separated file. So I just click on that, and then it places raw data.csv into my Google content drive. And if I want to find the path, I go over to these 3 vertical dots by the name of the file. I click it and I can copy the file path right here. Once I copy that file path, I'm just going to close that pane and paste the file path right into those single quotes. So I'm going to press Ctrl V and paste the file path right there. So now I've created a data frame and its name is DF. To make sure it's the correct data frame, I'm just going to use df.head. That method will allow me to see the first 5 entries in the data frame within Python. When I run it, I see, yes, it is the correct data frame. It has the variables that I was looking at: gender, height, weight, ages, marital status, race, and education. So I do have the correct data frame here. And now I'm going to use Seaborn to create the histogram. So first I'm going to add a code cell by clicking here to add a code cell underneath. And then the nickname I gave Seaborn was SNS. So I'm going to do SNS, and I'm going to use this method called set. And into set, I'm going to place a dictionary that's going to allow me to set the width and the height of the data of the this histogram plot that I create. So this is going to allow me to set the width and height of my histogram. So I'm going to call this dictionary RC, and it's going to be equal to, so to create a dictionary, I make a curly bracket, and the first key is going to be figure dot fig size. That's going to be my first key, and the value I'm going to put there, so I'm going to go one over and make a colon, and the value I'm going to put in here is an ordered pair with the width and the height of the histogram I'm trying to create. So let's make it 10 by 5 maybe. So this is going to create a 10 by 5 figure, and if it's too big or too small, I can resize it using that line. So I'm going to press enter to go to another line, and I'm going to call Seaborn once again. Remember, the nickname for Seaborn is SNS, and the specific method I'm going to use now is called histplot. So HIST for histogram, histplot. And histplot, well, I'm going to feed it X, which is just the array of data that I want to make the histogram for. So the array of data is just one of my variables in my data frame. So I'm going to type df so I can access the data frame and then open a square bracket. That square bracket now is going to allow me to select whichever variable I want to create this histogram for. And I believe we were supposed to create a histogram for height. So I just choose height here. And that will create my histogram. So what I have here, that first line of code, SNS set, is just going to set the figure size. That second line of code is going to create the histogram. And along the x-axis, I'm going to create a histogram for the data frame heights. So df, and then in square brackets, I put heights, the variable heights. When I run this now, it creates this histogram. Let me zoom out a little bit. So there's the histogram for the heights. All right. And you can play around with the size by changing the width and the height here. But this is basically what they're asking for, the heights as a histogram. So I have the heights on the horizontal axis and the counts or the frequency of the height on the vertical axis.